think you've been taught how to warm up wrong. At least I was. Before I became a professional triathlete, I do a few light stretches and some mobility drills. But honestly, I had no idea why. And I definitely didn't feel like it helped me run any faster. Then I met my coach, who showed me a completely different approach. One that not only warmed me up in minutes, but actually made me feel better and run faster. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 science-backed steps to build a warm-up that makes you more efficient with every run. So you can run faster for longer without getting injured. But first, let's ask the obvious question. Do we really need to warm up? Can't we just start running? Well, according to a scientific review from 2025, dynamic warm-ups are proven to reduce injury risk and improve performance. And they do more than just raise your heart rate. They prepare your body mentally and physically for the demands of your upcoming run. But this is where most runners go wrong. They think that jogging just a bit slower is enough to get warmed up. But that's only one piece of the puzzle. Because there's actually 2 types of warm-ups, and they both matter. They do different things, but together they set you up to run your best. Which brings us to step number 1 of the perfect warm-up. Use both types of warm-up. So, what are they? They are called systemic warm-ups and local warm-ups. A systemic warm-up is all about getting your whole body to move. It increases your heart rate, gets your blood flowing, and raises your core temperature, and basically just tells your body, hey, we're about to do something. Think the easy jog or anything really that just gets you to breathe a bit harder and raises that core temperature. But that's only part of the picture. A local warm-up is more specific. It improves blood flow and muscle activation in those exact muscles, preparing you for the exact movement pattern you're going to do in your workout. It could be something like leg swings or strides before intervals. Put simply, your systemic warm-up is what gets the engine going. Your local warm-up fine-tunes the performance. And both are key if you want to run fast, stay injury-free, and feel good doing it. And according to this review from 2025, the most effective local warm-ups include agility drills, explosive movements like jumps, core work, and balance exercises. All designed to mimic the way your body moves when you run. This kind of warm-up improves your flexibility, your joint mobility, and your muscle activation, which means your body is more responsive, more stable, and less likely to break down mid-run. It's like tuning up a race car before a race. Now, before I show you a full protocol on how we can use this knowledge to our advantage, you first need to understand one more key, which brings us to step number 2 of the perfect warm-up. You see, the best way to warm up actually depends on how hard your training is. Let me explain. In a study from 2023, researchers wanted to know if doing a high-intensity warm-up could help long-distance runners improve their 5K performance. They recruited 13 male runners, and each runner did 2 different 5,000-meter time trials, but with a different warm-up before each one. The first day, they did a high-intensity warm-up with 500 meters at 70% effort, followed by 3 by 250 meters at 100% race effort. 1 week later, they did another 5K, but with a low-intensity warm-up that consisted of 500 meters at 70% effort like before, but now it was followed by 3 by 250 meters at 70% effort. They measured not just the finish time, but how their body responded, using jump test, blood lactate, perceived effort, and pacing strategies. The study found 5 key takeaways. After the high-intensity warm-up, runners finished the 5K 6.4 seconds faster on average. They paced themselves better during that run. Their jump performance, a test of explosiveness, improved only after the high-intensity warm-up. Their lactate levels were higher after high-intensity warm-up, meaning their anaerobic system was more activated. Their perceived effort and internal load were also higher, showing the warm-up was more demanding. But still, it was more effective. So, what's the takeaway? Your warm-up should prepare your body for the effort you're about to put in. If you're going for an easy run, there's no need to up the intensity during your warm-up. But if you're going for some hard intervals, your warm-up needs to include some efforts at that target pace. Let me give you an example. Every Monday, I do VO2 max intervals at the track, and I try to aim for a 3-minute per kilometer pace. So I start with 10 to 15 minutes at around 70% of my max heart rate. Then I'll do 3 to to 4 strides at around 100 to 200 meters, progressively building up to that target pace. After the last stride, I rest for about 2 minutes and then I start the workout. This way, my body is fully primed to run fast. But if I'm doing a tempo run or running at half marathon pace, then my strides would only build up to that pace, because there's no need to overdo it. But warm-ups are not only physical, which brings me to step number 3 of the perfect warm-up, which is crucial, even though most runners never do it. For you to understand, let me tell you a story from back when I was a professional triathlete. Every morning, I would go swim with the local swim squad. We met at the pool at 5:30 a.m., swim caps on and still half asleep, ready to swim until 8 a.m. But before we even touched the water, our coach would go through that day's training. And then he would ask us to do something that most runners never even think about. He would make us write down the goal of that session. It didn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it could just be something technical, like how my hand hit the water. Other times it could be something mental, like staying calm during the hard intervals. But the key was this: we had to be intentional about it. And at the end of the session, we would look at the goal again with a teammate. So we had to reflect on whether we actually hit that goal we set for ourselves. That simple habit of setting a goal each session and then reflecting upon it afterward completely changed the way I approach training. Because once you start showing up with purpose, everything changes. You improve faster, you stay focused, and you actually remember what that training was all about. And that's why step number 3 of the perfect warm-up is something that most runners completely miss. You need a mental switch. Because here's the thing, warm-ups aren't just physical. They're the perfect opportunity to shift your focus from everyday life and mentally prepare yourself for the run ahead. And most people skip this part and then they wonder why they never get better. But that mental transition matters. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Just 30 to 60 seconds of intentional focus during your warm-up can make all the difference. You can ask yourself, what's the goal of the session? Or what kind of effort am I aiming for? Or maybe, what will I focus on during the hardest part of this session? Personally, during my VO2 max sessions, I'll take those 2 minutes after my strides to really think about what I'm going to focus on when it hurts the most. Then I think about my pacing strategy and then I commit to doing that. It's like flipping a switch from preparation mode to performance mode. Alright, so how do we put all of this information together into a warm-up that actually improves your performance no matter the run? Here's a simple science-backed warm-up you can use before every session. Starts with a systemic warm-up. So 5 to 10 minutes of easy jogging just to get the blood flowing and get that core temperature up. Then you move into running specific drills. Things like high knees, A skips or B skips. I'll leave a link to a full drill routine that I use often in the description below. Then you add some strides. Do 3 to 4 short efforts, progressively building up to the pace that you expect to hit during your run. And then pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what's my goal for today? Then flip the switch. Leave normal life behind and get ready to crush this session. If you want a training plan that puts all the science together, from warm-ups to workouts to make you the best runner you can possibly be, then I've built one for you. You can find them in the description below. But even the best warm-up won't make you better if your limiter is holding you back. So to find out what your limiter is and actually fix it so you can start to run faster for longer, you should check out this video next.